You're delivering 7 and 8 out of 10. Great, fantastic, crack on. You'll do well. But there's another level. And once you know where that other level is and how you get to it, you will outperform the competition on every single touch point within your industry. You will become leaders in experience in customer service.
Going beyond the 10 in customer service. Today I'm joined by Geoff Ramm, author of Celebrity Service, global keynote speaker, and the guy that Forbes call a total game changer in customer experience.
You must always go the extra
mile.
You must always exceed
Expectations.
There you go. So you've read the same books as me. I want to give you this technique, and I'm saying there's a baton, take it and run with it, or drop it. It's up to you. But when you run and when you embrace celebrity service, you win.
Geoff's content is so packed with actionable brilliance, you'll definitely want to take notes.
Geoff! If your next inquiry person walking through your door was an A-list, and it's got to be A-list, I'm talking Hollywood.
Let's do this.
The HR department are going, shut up, don't. I thought our onboarding was good, shut up.
ActionCOACH, the help you need to grow your business.
Who is Geoff Ramm in 30 seconds?
God, where do I go? I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I'm a speaker, professional speaker at conferences all over the world, an author, and I speak on customer service, but my brand is celebrity service, which is the gap in your service you never realized existed.
Oh, you've got my attention. You've got my curiosity going, Geoff. So you never knew this existed. And I asked you that question because in your book it says, who is Geoff? And in 30 seconds, congrats, you did it in 30 seconds. It was a pressure moment that you achieved. What I like about the book, by the way, thanks for sending me these books.
Pleasure.
To James, always go beyond the 10. Why do you write that?
So it's the first question I ask every audience at every conference I ever do. I have the same opening 99% of the time. I'll walk onto the stage and I'll say, on the scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is abysmal, but 10 is incredible, what number would you give yourself right now for the levels of service you're giving every, and depending on the audience, member, passenger, guest, customer, client,
Got it.
A patient, okay? So on the scale of 1 to 10, what number would you give yourself right now? So in the very first gambit of my keynote, which is a big thing to do because everybody's prepared to be spoken at, I open it into an interaction with the audience so they know that this is two-way. So I say, right, on a scale of 1 to 10, I said, don't shout out. You'll always get one person shouting out. 7, 12, 2, whatever. I said, don't shout out, but think of a number. Just think of a number. Has everybody got a number? You see, yeah, fantastic. Okay. So this is how I will do it. This is what my first minute or two is like. I'll say, right, you got a number, fantastic. Don't change your number. There are no 1s, 2s, or 3s in the room today. Is that correct? And I've got a story about this. I've got to tell you about this. And of course, everybody say, no. I said, okay, that's good, because that's an instant P45. If you say, Geoff, I'm a 2, just go and have a sandwich, go home, right? I'll say, right, let's start the bidding at 4 and 5. Who's a 4 and 5? Give me a wave. And of course, in an audience at a conference, you have maybe, if for argument's sake, if there's 500 people in an audience, you might get 2 or 3 that'll say 4 or 5. I say, fantastic, thank you for your honesty.
300?
No, 2 or 3 people.
Oh, right.
There's not too many people because it's like, oh no. I say, okay, fantastic. Give me a wave if you're a 6 or a 7. All right, so that's the next 6 or 7. You will see about half of the room put their hand up. And I'll say, I bet you more of you said 7 than 6. And they're going, oh my God, yes, how does he know? Well, I know because of speaking for 23 years at 50-odd conferences a year. I know what the audiences are going to say, by and large. And I say, right, 8. And there's quite a few 8s go up. 9. Start to dwindle now. It's going to be quite, it's like a dozen 9s. I say, right, you're saving yourself for the big one. 10. And you might get 1 or 2 people. And I say, fantastic, let's have a round of applause for the 10s. Hey, fantastic. And I'll say, thank you for your honesty, but I knew the answers before you gave them to me. Because in every conference, in every country, no matter what brand, no matter what business, when I ask this question, the vast majority of the world tell me there are 7 and an 8. It's that we're 7 and 8. And what you're saying is, Geoff, we're pretty good. We're pretty good. But you're also saying to me, but there's room for improvement. I'll say, I know.
Is there a denial in that though? Because most businesses that I know, and if I'm putting my critical hat on, I would say that they might over-egg the quality of the service that they're giving, especially
Possibly.
once they've read something like this and they've got new heights and expectations.
Yes, absolutely. Because I say, right, okay. So the line in the book that I signed a copy for you, always go beyond the 10, is because I say it's just numbers. Even though I say 1 to 10, you think 10 is the ultimate. It's not. Because if a celebrity were to walk in, you would deliver an 11, a 12, a 13. So I always put the line in, always go beyond the 10. It is just a number. But you're right. Because what I often talk about, and you'll see this when I speak at the conference, I say, so we'll have an audience of, and I can guarantee it now, and with premonition, it'll be 7 and 8 in your room. Brilliant, fantastic. You're saying, well, Geoff, we're good, but there's room for improvement. How do you get that improvement? And I'll say, I don't know how many customer service speakers you've ever seen in your life. I don't know how many books you've read, manuals you've flicked through, or podcasts you've listened to. But every speaker, trainer, book, and manual in the world of customer service will tell you the same 2 things for the last 40 years. There's nothing new in the world of customer service. And these 2 things are as follows. And let's do this now. You must always go the extra
Mile.
mile. Now, when I do this in the audience will go, mile. And it'll be the most uninspiring, unenthusiastic mile, go the extra mile. Yeah. And I say the second thing is you must always exceed
Expectations.
There you go. So you've read the same books as me. you've listened to the same people as me.
Yeah.
You have been programmed into going the extra mile. Now imagine you leave the conference and you go back to the office, you go back to your factory, you go back to your business, and your team said, "Oh, what was it? Oh, it was fantastic. It was amazing. We saw Jess Ennis. There was Daley Thompson. There was Geoff Ramm. Wow, Brad Juggers. Oh my word, fantastic." And what did Geoff say? Come here. And you gather the team into your room. He said, "Close the door. From today, we're gonna go the extra mile." And your team are gonna be like, "Ooh. What does that look like?" And you say, "Well, we're going to exceed expectations." Go on. We've heard it all before. There's nothing new in the world of customer service until now. And what I've spoken about for the past 2 decades is what you have in your hand. It's the gap in your service you don't realize existed. You're delivering 7 and 8 out of 10. Great, fantastic, crack on. You'll do well. But there's another level. And once you know where that other level is and how you get to it, you will outperform the competition on every single touch point within your industry. You will become leaders in experience, in customer service. And it's a philosophy, and the philosophy is a question, and this is the question. If your next patient, member, passenger, client, customer were to tweet, email, walk through your door, pick up the phone, come through your website, as an inquiry, and they were an A-list celebrity, Hollywood god or goddess, what would you say? What would you do? How would you react? How would you respond? What would be the difference? And the difference is the gap. Because if the likes of Julia Roberts, Denzel Washington, Margot Robbie, Taylor Swift, were to say, "Hi there, I'm looking for 10 pallets of whatever you sell, or I'm thinking about joining your gym," and whatever it may be, whatever your business is, if your next inquiry person walking through your door was an A-list, and it's got to be A-list, I'm talking Hollywood, Bollywood, musical, movie icons, the biggest of the world. If they were to inquire, become your next potential customer, what would you say? What would you do? How do you react? What would be the difference? You wouldn't send them the pack that you've been sending to everybody else. You wouldn't be sending the same cover letter. using the same words, you would spend an extra 5 minutes, you spend 2 minutes just thinking of just creating something. That opening line would be different. If somebody was to send you a voicemail and you've got to call them, what? And I talk about the gap in your service. So if this potential celeb, big, huge, if you knew they were coming into your office tomorrow, are you serving the same coffee? Are you wearing the same shirt? Did you polish your shoes this morning? Have you got a wider smile? You know, it's a nightmare to get parked outside. It's always a nightmare on a Tuesday, Geoff. Oh, I know. But guess what? We've got cones out because this person's arriving this morning. We don't want them to have the hassle. And yet that person is the same as your regular customer who's going to spend exactly the same amount of money. But the perception is, what can we do more for them? Because this is exciting.
Beautiful. What a beautiful demonstration, actually, of Beyond 10. It says it in the book as well. I even drew this out, but you know, like...
you can draw in it. It's a lovely
before
book
the
to draw
shows
into.
come down, the phone rings. You let it go to the answer machine and hear that a customer has a problem. Do you rush back and help them? That's one point. Or do you just let it go? But then, here's a different scenario. Johnny Depp or Julia Roberts leaves the message. Do you go back? It's beautiful. Why did you write tell the truth next to this? Are we saying tell the truth? What would you do?
Yeah. Be honest with yourself. Because, like I say, let's go back to those numbers, James. When the vast majority of conferences will say 7s and 8s, which is a really high number. And I will turn to you and say, well, why is it then, as a husband, as a father, as a businessman, I am constantly disappointed in the levels of service that I receive from businesses every day? Online, offline, retail, it doesn't matter who it is. I can't get a hold of them. There's no number. I've got to go. I'm in a queue. Banks. Do we have to go down? Any organization, but I don't have a bank manager anymore. They took them away. I can't speak to anybody. Yeah. And they say, but yeah, Geoff, we're a whole team. You can speak to anybody in the call center. I said, does anybody know what I do as a business? They don't know me anymore. And it's every single day I get 2s. If on a scale of 1 to 10, I get 2s and 3s. If I'm lucky, I get a 4.
Yeah, but a lot of people's perception is that they're doing 5, 6, and 7 as well at the same time.
Yes.
Let's assume everybody listening right now is going to embody a Beyond 10. They're going to embody Beyond 10 following this call. What does it take to embody Beyond 10 mentality?
Change your mindset.
In what way?
Change your mindset to celebrity service. Are we delivering good? Everybody's talking about going the extra mile. We've talked about this. But it's changing your mindset. So it's looking at every touch point, that package that goes out, that delivery that goes out. What's inside the box? Could we have done something more? What does the box look like? How do we get it to that person? The very first time they order, can we send them something to say thank you. The T in celebrity is thank you, and I'll come on to the abbreviations in a moment. But think of all the suppliers that you know of and you work with, and we've just had Christmas not so long ago. How many people thanked you for the business last year? Well, and there's so many things you can look at, James. So until people physically see, and you get that from my stories, you get that from my ideas and my videos. Until people physically see what incredible looks like, they haven't had something to gauge their own service on.
Well, look at this example that you've got in your book, the Robert Williams example.
Yes.
It's beautiful. I've got to read this.
Yes.
I've got to read this. Good afternoon, Haley and Sharon. Thank you for choosing Fraser Suits to accommodate you for this supreme event. Obviously, they're going to go and watch Robbie Williams.
Yeah.
We trust that you will have a fantastic evening and will be well entertained with a strong performance from the rock DJ himself. So creative, isn't it, this? I'm sure he will get your bodies moving and make you feel like angels. Bit of a play on play on words. He will sound better than on the radio, that's for sure. Promise yourselves a night of no regrets. Oh my God, it's got me now, I'm listening. But try not to do something stupid and act like kids, ... Or you can if you like.
Yeah.
Enjoy the bubbles and the candy. All the best, the Frasers team. With the tickets.
Yeah. So that was one that story there. It's so a good friend of mine, Heather, who I've worked with a lot at Fraser Suites. So Fraser Suites, wonderful, Glasgow, Edinburgh, London, all over the world, and I've spoken at many of their conferences globally and in the UK. And we get to know people, you become friends. And you mentioned there about Robbie Williams. So my wife Haley and her best friend Sharon, they take that fans Robbie Williams wherever they are, they'll go. And he was on at is it Murrayfield? I think it was Murrayfield in Edinburgh. And so I just getting hotels and and I said, I know just the place. So I contacted Heather. I said the girls would love to come up and they're going to see Robbie Williams. Can we? Yeah, no problem at all. So I booked a night or two at Fraser Suites. And, in terms of a booking, yes, no problem at all. Fantastic. There's confirmation, all the rest of it. Booking, you're paid. That's good service. That's your 6, 7 out of 10, right? I got what I ordered. Everything was polite. Everything's fine. You get there, the room's clean and all the rest of it. But what elevates to a celebrity service is knowing something about your client, knowing something about your customer. What do they know? They know why they are there. They're going to see Robbie Williams in concert. So what the team did, they created that incredible postcard, and they wrote... Handwritten, of course, but they wrote, and it was just stunning, but they handwrote some of his major hits in with a message, and I wasn't there. Of course I wasn't there, but I got a phone call from Hilly. He said, "Not going to believe this." I said, "What's that?" You not believe they've done, and they actually give them a couple of sort of ponchos as well because the weather wasn't too great, and there was a little bottle of bubbly and some fruit. So there's a little basket of stuff, but we don't remember that. It's lovely, but it's great. But what we do remember is the effort, the real effort, and the creativity. And I said, "Oh, send me." And so Haley took the photograph, sent it to me, and she says, "What do you think?" "I'm going to talk about this for the next 30 years. It's going to be in my book."
So that's how you create raving fans, isn't it? It's remarkable. That is definitely going the extra mile.
Yes.
I mean, it is extra, isn't it? I mean, it's still part of going the extra mile, that.
But it's knowing, the thing is, it's knowing what you would do for a potential celebrity. This is the crux of it, okay? You say, "Oh, to deliver celebrity service." No, you don't just deliver celebrity service. It's knowing what you would do. Could we write a note when that person arrives? What could we do at any of the hundreds of touch points within your business? What would you do for a celebrity? And then saying, this is what we could replicate for everyone. So you're delivering 7 out of 10. Celebrity walks in, you go to there.
Yeah, you do.
Not there.
You do.
Just there. And that's the gap. It's the gap that if you can fill, there's not a competitor that can touch you in your marketplace for the service experience you could give them right after that conference.
This episode is sponsored by Constant Contact. Constant Contact is a powerful yet easy-to-use marketing platform designed for small business. Leverage automation and AI to expand your contact list, build relationships, and drive business with email, social media, event marketing, and more. Now back to the podcast.
And the obvious word of mouth marketing that comes off the back of it. Because Haley said she remembers this, she's going to remember this for 30 years, which is basically forever. And she's telling people, she literally, this is what you said a second ago. She phoned you up and she said, "You're not going to believe this." Yeah. That's a goal, is it? That's the goal from celebrity service. How many people can you get to actually pick the phone up, phone someone up that's important in their life and say, "You're not going to believe this." Yeah. That's the goal, isn't it?
Yeah. Now that comes to me, which I've not got the quietest voice in the world. You have no idea how many people I've told that story to in an audience who now go away with that incredible thing from Fraser Suites. Oh my God. And I have
even the Crown Plaza are in this book.
There's loads of examples. There's loads, and it's showcasing and putting those amazing examples, and put them on a plinth and saying, this is what incredible looks like. Strive and be inspired by these tiny little moments that cost nothing, but mean the world to the person receiving it.
There was it's a bit of a throwaway statement, and I just want to acknowledge it and lean into it. I'll remember this for 30 years. It's basically the saying they won't forget. And in your book, there's a picture here, and the picture hit me.
I've no idea where you're going here.
Well, the words, there's 3 words that you've put on the left-hand side. Kids don't forget. And then there's a picture.
Is that Hamley's? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Hamley's.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a little girl running up to a teddy, but a carrot.
Well, that's our daughter.
Yeah.
That's our daughter.
Okay, so
that's great.
That's your daughter.
Yeah.
And kids don't forget. In that moment, it's a moment, isn't it? And look at the cuddle, and look how easy to do that was. That's the thing that's the thing I got when I was reading this. That is easy to do.
I have a very big Hamley story. A very big Hamley story that I every so often I put into the keynotes. A really big Hamley story, which I'm not going to share now because it'll spoil it. However, based on that, kids don't forget. That example there where Grace is hugging that bear was not the occasion of the story that I talk about. Because, when it's so good, you go back. So that was another example. And when I talk about Hamleys, I talk them in very, very positively. And I say, look, it's incredible. And I say, it's amazing, the amount of toy shops that go out of business. And at the time, not so long ago, there was a rather big one. And I said, but yet, have you ever been to Hamleys on a Sunday? It opens at 11 o'clock and people are queuing from 10:15 down a street, around the corner to get into a toy shop. Why? Because I can get those toys anywhere. I can get them online. I can get them £5 cheaper. I can whatever. I can do that. Why am I going to go to the toy shop? It's not the toys. It's the people inside that create the experience. They're all demonstrating. It's a theatre. And that huge Hamley's bear outside is literally hugging kids, having selfies, taking photographs. No other toy store has something like that outside, welcoming people in. So the welcome is exciting. And even the queue, which is going to take 45 minutes, it's oh, yeah, we're nearly there. There's the bear. Simple things. Simple things. We talk about that retail theatre. Retail is on its knees. Not there, it's not. They put experience first. And I'm going, what experience first? Anyhow.
Again, I don't think it's something we should skip over this. That's the dream. The visual representation that you've just given us. 10:15, there's a queue 100 metres to get in. You got Betty's Tea Rooms in Harrogate. Honestly, you're queuing up for 2 hours to have a cup of tea. It's a cup of tea, but it's the world famous Betty's Tea Rooms and the experience that you get. And you can see the queues. So Hamleys have done it. Betty's Tea Rooms have done it. Very few businesses do it, but it would be a dream, wouldn't it? So imagine, me and you on presenting training school, yeah? And me and you, on a Monday morning, we arrive in the car park at the same time, about 5 to 9. We're getting out of the car, and I was like, look at that queue. We're up, and they're queuing up at our door. That's the dream for every business on the planet, isn't it?
Absolutely.
People queuing up, begging to do business with you.
Look at Betty's. Look at Hamley's. People aren't queuing because of the price. Oh, I'll get myself a cheap cup of tea this morning. 50 pence, no problem. No, it's experience. People buy experience. But are businesses giving people the experience worthy of being charged enough for them to want to? No, it's like you give businesses the opportunity to sample, to purchase that experience. They'll do it. But are we doing it, or have we just got a very similar business to one down the road with a different brand and a slightly different offer this month? So many things. Accountants can do it. Any business, any sector can look at any touch point, from acquisition to to the sealing of the deal, the contract, the work being placed and carried out. You've got hundreds of touch points. Can we create a celebrity service? What does the experience look like? How can we make it dare I say, exciting, fun. Dare I say, how do we come talked about in 30 years for the little things that we do? Becomes our culture, becomes our way of doing. But we don't. Majority of people don't. We just have the same old, put a smile on the face, they'll come back and be fine.
Okay, so look, everything you've said is resonating. All of the listeners right now, and I'm the voice of the listener listening, and there's thousands of business owners listening to this right now, and it's all making complete sense. Now, the reality is, there's a few realities. The first reality is, number one, this is going to take time, effort, creativity, and follow through. It's definitely going to create that. Yeah. And number two, the second reality is most people do not do what you said, even though it resonates. So why not? What's the excuse? What is the excuse?
I do hear time, and I laugh that off quite strongly.
Can we remove that excuse now? How are we going to remove that from the listeners now? So they're never allowed to give us that excuse again.
Let's look at, I think there's two areas here. There's time and there is creativity.
Yeah.
Great idea, Geoff, about about that Robbie Williams thing, and it's a great idea about Hamleys. I don't have a toy shop. I can't do that. I can't, So so there's an excuse of creativity. There's an excuse of
It doesn't
time.
work for us. It doesn't work like that in our.
Oh no,
we're lawyers.
Our clients won't
we
like
sell
that.
Toys.
I will tackle those two with the one technique. I'm going to give it to you now, and if your listeners can listen to this, and hopefully they'll gather where I'm coming from here. Okay, so yes, I'm a keynote speaker. The other big chunk of what I do is Celebrity Service Interactive, where I get everybody coming together in a collaboration. Yes, you and your team, to create celebrity service moments that the world would talk about. That's what we'll do. This is the technique. I'll share it with you now. I don't mind doing it, okay? Your team is in front of me in the audience. I've now picture the scene. I've got you on tables of 5, 6, 7 each. Okay, but those tables are going to compete against every other table in the room. This is a competition. And I say, right, this is what we're going to do. So if you could picture the scene where I've hopefully inspired you with some celebrity service stories, ideas, opened your eyes into thinking, oh my God, there's another level here. That's great. But how do we do it in our law firm? How do we do it? This is what we do. So I get everybody into teams. They're all on tables. You're going to work together. You've got paper and pens, and this is what crayons, if you wish, and we're going to go for it. You are going to compete against every other table in this room to come up with ideas the world would talk about. I'm going to give you the same challenge at exactly the same time, so everybody's on an even keel in this room. And the most creative, out there, outlandish, craziest answers will win some prizes. And everybody's like, ooh. You offer prizes, everybody's very excited. I say, right, here we go. So I give them the first challenge. These challenges, something that I trademarked and created 2 decades ago now. It's called the 120 challenge. 120 challenge. Here's your first 120 challenge. And I go, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. You run this business, you have to do this, da-da-da-da. This is the clients. You only have 2 minutes to come up with the ideas because it's 120 seconds. That's the 120 challenge. Half of the room right now, James, will go, oh, I've only got 2 minutes. The other half have already picked up a pen. Right, let's go. Your 2 minutes, start now. And I set the room away. The AV team will play some music, and we all of a sudden, your team lifts. Oh, we could do this. What's that idea? Bang, yeah, we could do that. We can do bang. And you have this noise in the room. It's brilliant. And I do 1 minute to go, 30 seconds to go, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pens down. Right. So I give them a challenge about creating a service, and it'll be nothing to do with their industry. Nothing at all, okay? Take them out of their sphere and just drop them into the celebrity service world. And I'll say, right, if you're currently sat right now on a table and you know on this piece of paper you've come up with an idea and you think, oh my God, I hope Geoff picks us.
because I was thinking, I hope it doesn't.
Oh, no, well, I hope he picks us. Because if this idea doesn't get out in the outside world, it'll be a travesty of life. So I said, if you've come up with an idea, there's a chance of winning some prizes. Pop your hand up. First hand goes up. I've got a roving mic. I come out into the audience. I say, right, James, tell me what you and your team come up with. Oh, Geoff, this is what we do. Fantastic, brilliant. Round of applause. Who's next? Next table, and it goes on. We do 4 or 5 of these. But the whole room gets their say. I'll then jump back onto the stage area and I say, was that fun? Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. And everybody's enjoyed it. It was great. I said, I didn't come here for fun. I come here for ideas. And here I am, a stranger to you all. And I come on and I say, 2 minutes to come up with a great experience. And every single table in this room has come up with an idea that does not exist outside of these 4 walls. You've just created differentiation in your service experience in 2 minutes. And you can see the little light bulbs going flipping heck. And I say, right, the winning team there's the prizes. Everybody gets a round of applause. I'll come back on stage and I'll say, that wasn't a training game. Everything I talk about in my books, in my keynotes, is real life. It's real life because you were drawn. When you see an organization, a business, a team deliver celebrity service, it's like a magnet. You're drawn to them straight away. And I say, this is exactly the same. And then I reveal the answers to the challenge that I set because it's real life. And people can see the answers. And there's no right or wrong answers. It's just pure creativity. But that opens the floodgates into thinking, hang on a second. And you can see the CEO, you can see the exec team going, our team have just come up with all of those ideas in 2 minutes when they've worked together as collaboratively. Oh my God. This one simple technique. People come up to me and say, Geoff, that's really easy. I said, well, I can make it harder. But, life is too short. And they say, well, fantastic. So we do that. I've give you the technique, 2 minutes, working as a team, and you pause that. After I've gone, when I've got back on the plane, got back on the train, I've left the conference room, I want to give you this technique. And I'm saying, there's a button, take it and run with it. Or drop it. It's up to you. You can pick it and walk. But when you run and when you embrace celebrity service, you win. And whether that's greater Net Promoter scores, greater TripAdvisor reviews, awards, contracts won. I don't know what results are going to look like, but I do know that every single business and brand that embraces celebrity service wins. They improve. They create the gap your competitors wish they had. So we do the first 120 challenge, and I'll just go back to that if you don't mind. We've got 6 hours, haven't we? We're all right. Fine. 7, fine. So the first one's done, very creative, and the answers I do for the first one, it's hilarious, and it's a lot of fun, as you imagine, it's a lot of fun and humour. We then go to the second one, and the second 120 challenge will be a little bit harder. So I go crazy with the first one, and then just the first one, so bring in the walls a little bit. So it might be a written challenge. You might have to, a bit like, if Robbie Williams would, people would say, what could you write on that note and get people thinking? So it'll be, but the third one might be an internal team one. Because even though for this podcast so far, James, we've talked about the customer, the patient, the guest, the passenger, celebrity service, but like charity starts at home.
Yeah, which is obvious impact on culture then, isn't it?
Internal team. Are we treating each other like celebrities within our own business? Are we delivering a celebrity service internally to our colleagues that will inspire them to want to deliver a greater external experience? So that's chicken and egg. So I might do an internal one. One of my favourites, I'll tell you this one. First day, last impression. First day, last impression. Everybody in your organisation has one thing in common. You've all had your first day at that company. What was it like? Now this is the HR department are going, shut up, don't. I thought our onboarding was good. Shut up. I say, what was your first day like? Who met you? What did they say?
How do you feel?
What when you went to your desk? Was your login already there? Oh no, you got to use a guest login. We haven't set it up on the computer. IT haven't. Shut up. You've known I've been coming to this organisation for 2 months. Why have I got a guest login? And now this might sound old school, but back in the day it was like, oh, we don't have your business cards yet, but they'll be ready in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
here's your laptop. Get it set up with the IT team.
But if it was Brad Pitt starting in your department on Monday morning,
Brad Pitt's in the book as well, by the way.
What would that experience look like? What would the offer letter say? When he arrives or she arrives, who meets them? What's on the board? Do you pick them up on the first morning? Do you maybe don't drive in, James? You remember the team? Well, I'm going to pick you up.
The limo,
any helicopter. I don't care what it is, right? But imagine, right? So I turn to the teams in this scenario and say, you now have 120 seconds to create the greatest first day of your next employees, your colleagues' career, because they've left another job or they've come from university. They're nervous. I don't care how old and how experienced you are. Going into a new job is like the first day of new school. You've got new shoes, you make new clothes, you're a bit nervous, you've got a new pencil and a bag, but you're nervous. You will leave the house earlier because you don't want to be late. And all these little things. And it's like, well, who do I meet and where do I meet? And it's there's a lot of stuff going on there. So why don't we make it the greatest first day they've ever had? So that when they go on LinkedIn on that night, when they get back home, they go, oh, well, how was your first day at work? Oh my God, you're not going to believe this. You never guess. I walked in and do you know what was and then I went to my desk and at lunch and just be, oh my God, I've made the right decision. And all I've heard for the last 4 years is it's harder to attract great talent and it's harder to keep great talent. You do this 120 challenge, you and your team will come up with ideas you've never had before.
It's word of mouth. It's lasting impressions, and people will speak about this for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And what's dawning on me, you've said it requires a mind shift. It requires a mind shift, a setting of standards, and a ridiculous level of commitment to follow through. It's a change of philosophy, really.
Which is why this is the bit that excites me most. It's the results that clients get from it. It's seeing people leave that audience with a smile on their face and ideas in their pockets. That's the bit that I love, because I know those ideas are going to impact on their business. And I'm just the storyteller. I'm just the author of this story. But it's just going back to that question that you raised about how much is it going to cost? And, time.
Yeah,
we don't have
time.
Geoff,
effort.
We're busy. Well, I've just mentioned a 2-minute challenge. And you've read the books. How much does any of that cost? Next to nothing. But 2 minutes, you will come up with an idea. Now, I'll quickly go back to those 2-minute challenges. For anybody listening and think, oh, I'll do this myself. Be careful, okay? Your team will come up with a list of ideas. Maybe you'll come up with a dozen ideas. 3 of those will be illegal.
But funny.
Yeah, don't do them. Don't say, oh, well, Geoff said, and don't take me to court. It wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
But 3 of those... 2 of them will be like so expensive. Like somebody will come up with something crazy and you go, oh, we can't do that. And if you do it, you'll be out of business. And then it's Geoff's fault. It's not. But maybe you can do that years to a time. And a few of those ideas, when you read them back to the team, you go, da-da-da-da, and they'll go, yeah. Don't do them. If it doesn't excite your team, it's not going to excite your clients. But there'll be 1 or 2 ideas in that list from that challenge. That'll be gems, absolute gems. And you go, flip an egg. We could do that. I could do that. We could do that. We used to do that.
Well,
but we stopped.
Yeah.
And that ideas generation, creativity, I think is a big, big black hole in the world of customer experience.
Why do you say that?
Because we don't receive it. You don't receive it. You don't get great service all of the time. People don't send you stuff and do stuff and say something. If it was great, I wouldn't be doing what I do. I shouldn't have a job.
Are the Americans better than the British?
No.
Oh, because that's a myth then, yeah?
Who started the myth?
I don't know.
Americans. It's just me and you talking here. Obviously, we could get shot down, but absolutely not. Absolutely not. So it's which is the best region, or which is the best. I work a lot in Cornwall and Devon. Now that is a hub of creative. That you have to be good at service, otherwise your business is dead. You have to do it. Certain pockets of the country you can get away with murder. You don't have to do, because people will come to you regardless, because maybe it's where you are. But certainly Cornwall, Devon, they're very much, experience led. They have to deliver a great service experience. But when it comes to, so there's pockets of countries, and there's countries themselves. But I do hear that bit, the whole Disney stuff. Disney's great, but I've seen much better from other brands and other businesses who are thinking differently.
I've just taken it on to an even higher level, actually. Maybe you don't need to be committed to this. Maybe you need to be obsessed by it. You look at Jeff Bezos on Amazon. He's quoted online. He says, look, we're not a competitor-driven business. We are a customer-obsessed business. This is the biggest shop in the world.
Yeah.
Driven but obsessed by the customer. Is it not, to get what you're talking about, do you need to be obsessed by it?
Starting your own business was an exciting time, wasn't it? The good days you had and the bad. You knew you'd have to work hard, but you did it for your future. Lately though, you're missing out on the important things in life. Time seems to be slipping by. So make the change. Claim back your work-life balance and grow your business today. Visit actioncoach.co.uk.
I think obsessed is a strong word. It's a good word. I'm obsessed by it. I suppose you could class me as obsessed because I can't go on a family holiday without taking photographs, videos, that's a potential story. I did it just 2 weeks ago when we were away. I've got 3 stories now to go into a future event. And you go, so I'm obsessed about it. Do you know what? From a speaker, author point of view, I'm obsessed in showcasing great people, delivering great service and a great experience. That's what I love more than anything else. Do you have to be obsessed, or should you be obsessed? I think if you are, it'll genuinely help you. But I'll change it around and say, just be mindful of every single interaction and every day with every one of your customers is an opportunity to create an experience they could talk about.
He keeps things simple, Jeff Bezos, he's ridiculously rich, grown an amazing business, and he's done it through customer-centric.
He's up in the sky right now.
Mentality, he's probably listening. But when they come up with a strategy or an idea, he just says, look, all we do is we put the customer first and we work backwards on that. So whatever the idea is, let's stand in the shoes of the customer and now let's work backwards. So that's how you do it, yeah?
Yeah. Make it easy.
Everything they experience along the way. Now, in your book, of course, Celebrity, you use it as an acronym.
Yes.
Just briefly walk us through the acronym.
So we know what the philosophy is. It's the gap. It's, if a celebrity walks in, it's a 9-stage program. It's 9 stages of celebrity. So I create all of my content under these 9 pillars. So I'll go through it quickly, then I wouldn't break it down. So it stands for consistency, excitement, love, engagement, bravado, response, independence, thank you, and you and your team. 9 components. So what I do in my keynotes is I take, depending on your theme, depending on the audience, I will choose different sections, different stories that will fit that time frame. So consistency. We don't need to talk about that, but it's pretty obvious that we need to be consistent.
It's one of the most challenging things for every listener right now. I mean, doing this once is not a challenge for anyone.
Anybody can just sprinkle a bit of magic.
But doing this every day.
Yes. So what is going to continually, apart from the books being on your shelf, what is going to continually keep your business mind focused on delivering a greater service experience. I'll tell you now, and it's towards the end of the book. I'll share it for the listeners. You need time, right? When was the last leadership meeting you had? Oh, last Monday. When was the last sales meeting you had? 2 weeks ago. Well,
you got us. You've got us already.
You know where I'm going?
Yeah, everyone knows where you're going. This is a low blow, folks. It's got us right now.
There you go.
When was the last
Fill in
customer
the blanks.
experience meeting?
When was the last customer service? Any other business? Is it any other business?
Yeah.
It's really important, Geoff. And our theme of the conference this year, and our mantra is customer first. And I'm like, so how many times do you get your team together in a room and focus, challenge, create? They don't. So, if it's once a week, great. 15 minutes. Do a 120 challenge in that 15 minutes. So I'm going to give your listeners some hints and tips and ideas on how they can create this, okay? I want to paint a picture for everybody. If it's once a month, fine. If it's once a quarter, okay. If it's once a year, I bet it's once more than you've currently done.
Yeah.
So whatever you do, flip and do it, okay? So you need time and you need space. So this is how we do it. Let's lock in once a month. Let's not go crazy because I know people are freaking out right now. Once a week. Once a month for 15 minutes on a Friday morning, 8:45 till 9 o'clock. And you get your team into the room and you need a space. Okay, so what I suggest you have, we've got a lovely wall right to the side of us now, right now. That's called a celebrity service wall. That's called your customer service wall. And you are going to fill that, not full of quotes, God's sake. You're going to fill it full of the great things that you and your team have spotted, seen, come up with, received, listened to in the last few weeks. So imagine that email that came through, or you've received that order online, and they put this postcard inside, and they did this, or however it may look, a voicemail, that comes in. How good that person said that word. How cool is that? And what you do is you just paint a picture, a visual reminder of what incredible service looks like, and you add to it. It'll be sparse at first, but you add to it. That's what my keynotes. I have 500 stories. I have loads that will inspire audiences, but inspire your team. So we need a space. The time, 15 minutes. Get your team in. Right. What's worked really well? What has what opportunities? We just took a new person on. Brilliant. How can we deliver a celebrity service to them when they arrive? What can we send their family to say? We're looking after whatever it may be. Supplies, yeah, we've had 2 associates who have recommended, our firm, and that's turned into an awful lot of business. And how do we deliver celebrity service to those people referring? What could we do? It's an open, honest conversation. We bring a 2-minute challenge in, and we discuss maybe one of those 2 ideas on the wall. How did that make you feel? What did you get? What did they send you? Did they follow up? Whatever it may be, but have the conversation. From that 15 minutes. There'll be 1 or 2 ideas that get created. Certainly from the 120 challenge. There'll be 1 or 2 ideas that get created. Now we need to action one of those. Bring that into the business. Bring that into our CRM system. Bring that into our day-to-day, whatever it may. Bring that into, we'll do this on people's birthdays. I don't know what it is, but bring it in, okay? Adopt it. That person who came up with the idea, brilliant. Now we need to recognize and reward that person, not financially, but recognize and reward that this person come up with this idea. There you go. 15 minutes per month. You will come up with ideas you've never had before.
With an action point.
With an action point.
And some recognition and reward.
Next month, how did that go? Well, to be honest with you, 90% of clients hated it, right? We'll stop doing it. Oh my word, 2 clients created 2 videos, and they've had over 40,000 views of what we sent them. Okay, what did it cost? A few minutes. What have we got back?
7 leads.
Yeah.
Great word, reputation, reviews.
You've created the
loyalty.
gap. You've created a gap that your competitors, they haven't got those ideas because they're not doing it. Unless they listen to this podcast and they're going, oh, I'll do a bit of that. So there is the like I say, I have a formula, the time, the space, the ideas in terms of the ideas generation, which we've briefly spoke about, the recognition and reward.
Look, that was the C. So
oh my God, yes, we've got 6 hours to go. So consistency, excitement. That's one of my favorite ones, and we'll do this at conference. People will. I'll always put an exciting story in, but it's not about, because you will have professional businesses going, what do you mean excitement, Geoff? Have we got to tell jokes as they come in? Have we got to juggle in the lift? No. It's about putting a smile on somebody's face. That's all it is.
And give yourself permission to have a little bit of fun in business, for God's sake. And that's for all of the people that are deadly serious right now. And I'm being deadly serious. I've learned this the hard way through coaching thousands of businesses. Being overly results focused and serious about business doesn't lend itself to holistic, long-term sustainable progression. When we just blend it with, you're allowed to have a bit of fun along the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
You develop stronger relationships. There's emotions that are driving things forward, and we're still serious about business growth.
Of course.
You can have both.
Yeah, absolutely. The excitement piece is a big one for me, and it's something that any business can do. And it's about spotting an opportunity to put a smile on somebody's face, but take an action. So many people don't spot the opportunity, and the ones that do, they might not take action. But you take those 2 leaps, you're going to create something really magical. Love, the L in celebrity. Now, this is it's had a few variations over the years. My favorite one is, and you think, oh, you love your clients, they love you love your customers, they love you. No, it sounds a bit weird. Love is when something goes wrong. Because there's always somebody in an audience, in an organization, in a team that love it when something goes wrong, because they spot an opportunity to flip it. So something goes, that hasn't been delivered, it's in the wrong color, there's been a flood, whatever happens, it's called life, right? It's called life. Something will always go wrong. But it's what we say, how we respond, and what we do can make or break that interaction and that experience. So love is about flipping it. So consistency, excitement, love, engagement. Now that's the conversations that we have with our customers. And when I talk about engagement, and the Hamley story is a big one actually for that, it's about finding that nugget in that conversation. Why does that person really want this? Why do they really want that color? What is it, a specific reason why they need this for this particular time? But it's finding out a little bit about you, a little about what your loves and needs and hobbies and interests, whatever they may be. And at some point in the conversation, bring that back in, and you will create that experience that that person's never had before. So the engagement is a big piece. The B, the bravado, is being brave. It's exactly that. It's
bold,
yes.
Doing something big. Don't just do it a little bit, just go for it.
Yeah. So there's
a lot of fear involved.
You like this. Because you're the type of person that would just love this. So you're absolutely bold, brave, being bravado. I'm going to do this because I know it's going to work. I know it's got a good chance that people are going to love this. However, we don't live in that ideal world. You come up with an idea to do something for 100 of your customers. 98 go, James, oh my God, brilliant, love it. And they send you photographs and videos. 2 will complain. Can't believe it. So he's joking. Yeah. And I've got so many examples of it, really big examples of this. This isn't right. I've got blah, blah, blah. And you go, and you start hiding, I should not. And there's a chance that you and your team would stop doing it because you don't want to aggravate 2 people next year. And yet 98 people thought you were superstars. Yeah. And you've got to go with the numbers. No, you can't. I've got some incredible examples of this, some really, really potent examples of this. And you think, oh my word. And it's so easy to go, do you know what? We'll dumb it down for next year. We'll not. And what you do is you dumb it down to the level of what your competitors are doing, which is vanilla.
Right. So never take it personal. I mean, look, you're not going to please everybody, and you got to understand that.
You do your utmost. You do your utmost, but there's certain risk taking we've got to do in business. You've got to do something different.
Louise's book, The 4 Agreements. Never take it personally. Go for it.
Yeah.
You're not going to please everyone, but you're going to raise the bar in doing so. You're going to get more people talking about you.
Yeah.
It's going to take strength, though, and courage to do that. All right, just go through the next ones.
Response. The R in celebrity is called response. It's a great question to ask. An inquiry comes through to your business. How do you respond? Now, what we do in the world of communication, if I WhatsApp you, you WhatsApp me back. I leave you a voicemail, you voicemail me back. I email you, email me back. We tend to mirror. Yeah. If it was Denzel Washington, if it was Julia Roberts, it was Brad Pitt. What would you do? Now, if they were to email you, you'd phone them back. You might, and I've got a great story that I might actually do, and it's a video. You actually send a personalized video to that person. We're thinking about purchasing. We've seen that house on the market. Can we? And rather than, because there's a chance that person's also contacting another 4 suppliers. You're in competition. How do you respond back in a greater personalized way? So I show organizations how we can do this. That costs nothing but mean the world. That'll take a minute, but will last for years in that person's mind. So I talk about response. How do you respond to complaints? What should you do? What, when, how? And it's all about the mindset of, if this was a celebrity, what would we have said? What would we have done?
Such a good question, isn't it? In the filter process, in the idea creation, in the execution of dealing with this complaint.
Because that puts you, that gives your response a different level.
Yeah, it does.
So all of a sudden you've elevated the experience, even if something potentially negative or potentially something lucrative when it's an inquiry. So where we are, response, independence. This is quite rare, but I have some wonderful examples of it. Independence is, all your competitors are going that way. They do the same type of thing time and time again. You know, the Uber driver, but it's the same type of stuff. Whatever it is, you're all. However, it's being true to yourself and thinking, I'm going to do something different here, and I'm going to go this flipping way. And these are the people that stand out. One of my favorite stories on this is a guy called Nick. I just mentioned Uber. He's an Uber driver. Around Disney, people talk about Disney. I'm like, no. Uber Nick. Be like Uber Nick. And we must have took, this is many, many years ago. I'll quickly do a quick glimpse of the story without the slides. We must have took 40 Uber Lyft. We didn't hire a car because that's not a holiday. Yeah. We just Ubered. It was cheap as chips back in the day, back and forwards to the parks. And every Uber, finding your driver, found your driver, 3 minutes away. You see the little car moving. And then they arrive and say, hi there, yeah, fine. And pleasantries or nothing. And it's like, that's it. That's your 7 out of 10. I called in this Uber and there's, hi there. So your driver's on his way. Driver's called Nick. Just another Uber driver's fine. And he sends us a WhatsApp message. Nobody else has done that. He says, hi there, Geoff. Nick, Uber driver, I'm on my way. So I replied, I went, oh, thanks, Nick. I said, we're over by where the Disney buses are, and there was like 4.5 million buses and taxis. I was giving them the most ridiculous, but I was over by, okay, see you soon. And I'm thinking, oh God. He's never going to find us. But we'll find each other. I've got his WhatsApp anyhow. So we've got the buggy. So Elliot's in the buggy and Grace and Hilly. So there's the 4 of us, and it's really hot. It's sort of like 3, 4 in the afternoon, whatever. And kind of look around. And far corner of the car park, there's this guy, right? Can I do this? Can I stand up?
Yeah.
Right? Get this. I need to show you this because it's never happened in the world of taxis and Ubers, right? Nick, assumed it was Nick, got out the car, stood up. He's looking, get yourself in the car. I said, okay, fine. So I got in the front, kids, Hilly, the bags and all the rest of it. He shuts the door. He said, before we go, I've got something for the kids. I said, sorry? And he went into the glove compartment and picked out a load of stickers. Right? You know, all the tiny little stickers. And there was Spider-Man, there was Batman, there was Disney princesses, all that. He goes, there you go, guys, help yourself. And the kids were like, oh. Yeah. Sticking them on everything. We spent £2.5 million in Disney that day. You ask our kids the highlight, stickers from Nick, right? So he's like, sticker. But he knows that no kids want to leave Disney during the day. We had to leave, we're going somewhere else. So he just makes that trip a little bit better for them. He said, there's water at the back, guys. There's no charge. Help yourself. Okay. He said, what sort of music do you want? I said, Nick, just drive. I said, flight's in 3 days. We're going to miss it. He said, I said, no, what sort of music? I said, and I said to Grace, our daughter, I said, what would you like? She said, Little Mix. And he said, little what? I said, just pop music will be fine. He puts it on. We still hadn't drove. We still hadn't gone anywhere, right? Water, stickers. And he said, what sort of phone have you got? I'm like, geez, this is mad. And I said, iPhone, whatever it was at the time. And he went into the side of his pocket, picked out a wad. He had a wad of chargers for every single flipping phone, every one there was. He goes, there you go, give yourself some juice. It's a trip. It's a trip.
I've never got in a taxi and they've done that.
It's like $8. Do you want a tip? Yes. Do you want to give a review? Yes. And I took a photograph of him and I said, you've been the greatest Uber driver I've ever come across. And he said, really? I said, do you mind if I photograph with my daughter? I said, yeah. So he's a wonderful guy. And he turned into a postcard because I used that photograph on a postcard and I sent it to all my clients all over the world. And I said, be like Nick.
Uber Nick.
And I created the story. I said, this is what happened. And I prefaced it with, what do you constantly get asked for? What do you think your customers will need? And give it to them before they've asked. He knows that everybody leaving there is thirsty. It's hot. It's hot day. There's the water. He knows that to make the journey a bit better, the kids, if they're distracted with stickers, great. He knows that every single person that leaves the Disney parks, their phone is pretty much dying. But for the sake of 10 minutes, grab yourself some juice. And these little things, James, are what makes us independent from the rest. Beautiful. There was 40 odd Uber, but Nick was the one. So that's independence. T is thank you. Thank you for the business. Thank you for putting food on the table this year. Thank you, suppliers. Thank you, people. And it's exactly that. How do you thank people? How do you appreciate the business? Because I don't see it. Now I'm going to spoil it for you, but hopefully you'll forget about this. But we're going to be, we've just worked together, live in London. And there's a thing I do every year, and I've done for 23 years. I've always done Christmas gifts. I've always done Christmas cards. I write every single card. I don't have them pre-printed because that's not celebrity service. But I will be sending you something in the post. But it's not just for you, it's for you and your team, because there'll be a team at the event. Let's all share a bit of... I was like, who's this from?
I've already experienced that once off you anyway. You sent me this. It came in incredible sort of silver wrapping, yes. And it came in a box. It came with a handwritten note. So you are living and breathing this stuff. And the why is you and your team, yeah?
Yes. So the why. What are you and your team going to take away from this talk today? What are you going to go and achieve? So how I leave it is, it's about results. It's really about the results, because once you have the technique, when you think, I want to run with this, I've got some techniques to create my own ideas. My word, it doesn't take very long, does it? Doesn't cost very much. I've got stories that will inspire us to another level. And the why is you, your team. This is what it looks like when people embrace celebrity service. This is what it could look like for you and your business. Now, I have a very special page on my website. Now, I know every speaker has products and books and videos and about, and everybody likes that. It's the third page down on my website. It's one that I'm most proud of. It's called Results. And it's just have a look. Just click on that and have a look. And that's just a few handfuls of ideas of what businesses have gone on to achieve when they've changed their mindset, when they've said there's a gap in our service we don't realize existed, and now we're filling it. And that is the biggest part. So the why, your team, what are you going to take away from this today? The ideas, the techniques, the stories, but the results has been worth your ticket to that conference, has been worth your time, hopefully booking me and bringing me in. And the journey that you're about to take is going to be something that your clients have never witnessed before.
Got a few questions to wrap up with here.
Go for it.
Simple ones.
Favorite colour?
What is your favorite colour?
I do like black.
Well, true to form.
But there's a red and white part of me as well. So,
what's the biggest achievement, biggest and best achievement in your life?
We've just celebrated 25 years of marriage.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that's an achievement. Not everybody gets there. We support each other. I have my own business. Hayley has her own business. We've got two amazing kids. I think that side, that little bubble that we have is possibly, yeah.
And you're not leaving a legacy. You're living your legacy. You're doing what you love.
Oh God, yeah.
For 2 decades already, and 2 more to come. What's the hardest lesson that you've had to learn in life?
I think what the hardest thing is, from a celebrity service point of view, is we've got your team going, we've inspired them. Where's the momentum? Are you actually committed to seeing this through? And lots of my clients are, but sometimes I feel as like it's just like a one-hit wonder, and I think
I'm really pleased that you took your time on that and thought really deeply, because there's truth in that space to think. And what you're saying is that the hardest challenge here, folks, is the commitment required to follow this through. And all right, so what's the most beautiful thing in customer service or celebrity? What's the most beautiful thing about it?
I'm going to go back to results again. It's when I'm tagged in. When I'm tagged in, I was tagged in 2 days ago on LinkedIn. So I work with TransPennine Express. They've just brought a brand new food beverage offering, and so I've worked with all of the crews of late, and we're doing that again very shortly. And I was just tagged into a post about a lady who just, she'd worked all her life in service, but she moved to TransPennine, and she's just mentioned me for a paragraph. And she says, I was only there for 2 minutes, and we went to this training session. I was inspired by Geoff and what he was saying, and it was lovely. So when I receive the results of what people have received themselves, but there's another leap to that, where I am tagged into results of what that person's done, as the customer has been the one sharing. So I see from the customer's point of view, not just my client.
Seeing it happen in reality.
That is a sweet spot. And it happened recently. So I work with Avon. So Sarah Davies and I need to tell you the story. I'll tell you the story.
Go.
So it happened with Avon, where one of the beauty consultants had packaged she'd never done it before. She'd done a few things with the packaging. And her customer had done a video on TikTok that said, "Oh my God, you wouldn't believe what they've just said. This has come from Avon, all the rest of it." So then she told me. So that's a beautiful, sweet spot. So I've just mentioned Avon. So anyhow, here's the story. I've been in business 23 years, so I'm talking maybe 22 years ago now, give or take a few days, and some VAT. So 22 years-ish. I was booked by Barclays to speak at a startup business event, and it was in Bishop Auckland in County Durham. And it was an evening event. I was the keynote speaker. I was doing an hour of stuff. I went down. So Barclays used to do this back in the day. They used to do some amazing events. They really stood out from the competition. No other banks did it. So I had these conferences, and it was to inspire the new generation of entrepreneurs. And so I go there. There's about 60, 70 people in the audience, all in different parts of the small business ladder. I'm thinking about starting. I've got this idea. I don't know where to start. I've just started, that type of thing. So I did my hour, came off stage, and there's a queue of people chatting and they wanted to come over and say hello. And this young girl came up, and she was there with her mum because she was that young. She was there with her mum just to like support and stuff. And she said, "Hi, Geoff. I've loved everything you've said." She says, and she showed me the paper. She wrote all these ideas down. I'm going to do this. I said, "I want help with my branding. Can you come and help with the promotion of the business? I've just started it. I'm taking on staff. Will you come and train them with service?" And it was Sarah Davies.
That's really cool.
And it was like, Sarah. I've known her for 2 decades now.
Did you respond differently? Because it was Sarah.
But she wasn't a celeb. She was just
Sarah.
Anybody. It wasn't the celebrity she is now. So I was like, yeah, no problem at all. So from that event, we met. I met her dad, Frank, and her family, and we sat around the kitchen table, and we put plans. We worked together for about 8 or 9 years, on and off, as a consultant. I was a consultant, with the business. Phenomenal. And you could see the business growing. It was wonderful. And then, lo and behold, just over the last few years, it's so we're now on the speaker circuit together, and we're doing some joint events as well coming up for 2025. So I let that cat out the bag there. Sorry. So yeah, that's true story. But isn't it amazing with conferences, events, and you'll know this more than anybody, the people you meet along the way. And I think what's my greatest achievement in life? It would my immediate family, that those 4 walls that we have. It's very strong. I think one of the biggest things that I've learned in the world of business is not what I thought it was when I was going through university and college, because it was always about big business. It was all about these brands. At the time, it was Coca-Cola and IBM. No, not I'm so old, but these are the companies, and it's big business, and it's not cutthroat, but it's business, and it's serious. And yet, the friends that I've got, other speakers that our classes, my best friends, the people you meet along the way, that's the greatest thing about being in business. It's just brilliant. The people not just, people see that as a celebrity, but the people you meet along the way, like Heather with the Robbie Williams, I've got so many clients that are classed as friends in business. And I think that's one of the coolest things. And when I don't do it now as much, but speaking in colleges and universities like I used to, I'll say to the students who are leaving, I said, the greatest thing that you'll come up with is the relationships that you will build. And you have no idea where they're going to come from. But it's one of the greatest things in life. Don't just think about business and brand and acquisitions and profit. And I said, that's important. But that relationship side, that'll take you to another level.
It's nice, actually, going back to that question. Your biggest achievement in life is family and friendships. Now that the listeners have listened to this,
they've created the wall.
What should the headline be of this podcast? What should it be?
Oh, my word. I always revert to, celebrity service, the gap in your service it never realised existed.
We've got to get some celebrity in the headline, have we?
But it's interesting, isn't it? I'm so tempted to throw that question back at you in some sort of weird BBC interview. So tell me, what do you think? Because you know your audience more than anybody. What would they love? What would they get from this?
There's a second level, isn't there? If you think you're good at service, there's a second level here. There is the level beyond. Maybe going beyond the 10.
That's how we started.
Going beyond the 10.
I like that.
Like
I'm now going to get the domain name.
Going beyond the 10, like
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Well, I'm only throwing him in there because obviously it's Amazon and people can. We've got 2 minutes for this challenge. And,
Yeah.
It's the 120-second challenge. We're not under that much pressure. We've still got 84 seconds left. Going beyond the 10 in customer service or celebrity service?
Customer service, but because people who don't know me or haven't read the books, they will know it as customer service because that's what it is. It's generic. But what I'm introducing is that's
Going
the game
beyond
changer.
the 10 in customer service.
Oh, there's another one for you. There's another thought for you. Forbes did call me a game changer when it came to customer service. So whether you want to put that in or add it,
Yeah, I think
but it's a line that when it's my first line when I'm introduced on stage.
Yeah, good.
Because it gets people's attention. He mustn't be that bad.
And what should the first action be for everyone who's listened to it right now? What's their next action?
Get the team together.
Call a meeting. Get your diary out now.
Get the team to. Okay, here's exactly what we'll do. Get the team together and re-listen to this pod
Together.
Whoa! Everybody, and we'll go. Okay, now to go further, if they want, and I can give you some links. They can go to my website. They can go to the YouTube channel. The YouTube is free. It's free. It's free. It's all from this podcast, and you can see me delivering parts of celebrity service. There's not too much out there, but parts of celebrity service, that would bring it to life. So first of all, get your team together, close the doors, lock them, and say, listen to this.
And loads of the listeners have already seen you speak.
Of course.
They've already seen you.
But that's the thing to do. Get the most important thing is to get the team, embrace them and say, what do you think?
I just love that. I mean, there's two points and principles there that you're alluding to. One is get other people involved.
Yeah.
The most important one's your team, yeah? Get them involved. The second principle is watch it again.
You always
Listen to it
pick
again.
up. It's like a great movie. Oh, I didn't notice that bit before.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and it's one of those. And if you just do it yourself, Commander in Chief, celebrity service. What? Where we're going now? It's like, what's James on about? It's a new thing for this week. Well, get them in and get them to buy into it. And when it does come from somebody else, i.e. me, and when the techniques do work, there's no reason for us not to inspire one another to go well beyond.
My favourite bit of this interview has been appreciation of a couple of things. One is the commitment that's required to do this properly. And two, the level beyond. There is a level beyond 10. The appreciation of those two things. What's been your favourite part?
I think reliving some of the stories that you spotted, because I don't see the reader.
Yeah.
I don't see the reader. So the questions of, what's the biggest and what does this mean? I get asked that, which is lovely and it's great to. But when you picked out the Hamleys, the kid stuff, I forgot about that for a moment. That last snippet, and of all the hundreds of stories that are in there, you picked out the Robbie Williams. So straight away, it's like, so I was reliving those stories. So I was like, I haven't done that for a while. That story, But because it happened, and this is another thing for you, because it happened to my wife or me or the kids, and this is the one thing, everything I talk about is real life. It wasn't a case of, I'm not going to talk about a business that I know nothing about, but I'll tell you that I was there, and this is what I experienced. And when it comes, when I've seen it, when it's made me smile, if it's made me cry, if it's made me go, if it got me angry, straight away, I replicate that story on print and on a stage. And hopefully I sort of paint the picture, because we're all artists. Everybody who gets on a stage is an artist. And hopefully I paint a picture that the audience can be there with me They can be on that plane. They can be in that toy shop. They can be in that hotel room. Yeah, that's. I think that's been great for me. Just reliving some of the things that I've. You don't read your own book, do you? It's strange.
Oh, you write it, don't you? You write it. Geoff Ramm, thank you very much, sir.
James, thank you so much. Take care.